5. They call me 5.
So I went off for a quick coffee commentary break, and I have found Chantal Lawrence, one of the star South African ladies, and she's agreed to have a quick chat with me. Chantal, firstly, amazing hair.
Thanks.
I'm sure our viewers saw it on the screen thanks to the high definition streaming services from Take Note Technologies. It's super green.
Yeah, I know. I especially did it for this game. I even have the flag imprinted on the right side of my head. I don't know if everyone can see it though. Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, maybe a little bit later on you can get on my shoulders and we'll lift you up to one of the cameras so they can have a close-up. But that's very cool. And how are you feeling? It's been a long 2 days.
It has been a really long 2 days. I will admit my body's quite tired. I'm not playing the last women's game. I just thought, you know what, put it on them. I'm going to rest up and then take everything I've learned and come back stronger next year.
Yeah, so one of the things that the viewers don't realize is that just how physically taxing it is to be out there for about 15 minutes playing dodgeball with these short little breaks in between games. You may not realize, but this is a seriously physically taxing sport. Can you attest to that?
Oh yes, I mean, I think I play other sports as well, but this sport uses every single ounce of energy and every single muscle in your body. You use muscles that you didn't even know you had. Your arm is going, the arm that's not throwing is going backwards. Both your legs are just working at immense pace. You're going backwards, forwards. You know, the stop-start really it really gets in there. And if you don't have a strong core, man, you're going to suffer.
I mean, I'm sure warming up must play an integral part of your preparation as well. Having played dodgeball myself and still having niggling injuries a couple of years later, how important is it to get properly warmed up? And could you maybe talk to us a little bit about that pre-match routine that you guys have been going through over the past 2 days?
Yeah, sure. So we do like to do quite a bit of running. You do a lot of running so that you can warm up the muscles in preparation for your deep stretches. My team in particular likes to do static stretching. Lots of people don't like it, but we feel it's integral to how we play. Usually a dynamic warm-up is something that you do for a sport like this, but we do a lot of running, and then we do some deep stretching, and then we just after we stretch our arms, we just get the ball going, and we just get our arms working, and then we've started doing something called a blitz, which just means
Sounds
that we just stop pelting balls at one player. Take all your frustrations out now. But it's mostly just to get that player warmed up as well, looking for balls, get our arms warmed up so that we can start looking at where we're going to throw other players. So stretch is all about getting your mind in the game and your body in the game, and then so that you're ready and set by the time that whistle blows.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, take me back to the first time that you were exposed to this wonderful sport that is dodgeball.
Oh, my very first encounter.
The first time, yeah.
So I walked into a trampoline park the very first time I encountered dodgeball, and I was on my way to go to the trampolines, and I saw a whole bunch of people playing on the court, and I thought, oh my word, that looks like so much fun. I got in touch with Nick that night, we got his number, and the very next week we were on the court and we were playing. And
amazing.
I haven't stopped playing
the
since
trampoline
then.
park that you're alluding to is Rush, Jump Around. Okay, and that is in Pardon Island, is that correct?
Yeah, it has since closed.
Okay.
And then a lot of the trampoline players moved over to Rush in Claremont.
Okay, and I believe, are there still dodgeball-related activities happening at Rush at the moment in Claremont?
Oh yeah, there's a league happening every Wednesday. I know there's about 4 leagues per year. It's loads of fun. I thoroughly
paint a
enjoy it.
picture playing dodgeball on trampolines.
Oh my word, it's completely different to what you see here. Completely and utterly different. You can throw your body around. One of the awesomest things, I'm not a big catcher.
I saw you throwing your body around.
It's a much harder landing.
Okay, for sure. Okay.
But yeah, I'm not a big catcher on the court, but put me on a trampoline and I can catch balls easily because I can just land on my back without going out. It's super
that
fantastic.
Sounds like so much fun. So how do the team dynamics differ from the six-a-side here that we're experiencing? Does that change on the trampolines?
We still play with 5 balls and 6-a-side.
Okay.
I think your strategy kind of changes a bit more. The courts are a bit different. They're a bit smaller, and you use your space differently because you're obviously bouncing on your feet. You can do some more fun things. Really, it's It's a whole different game.
And you say there's leagues that are going on all of the time, or how many leagues would you say you guys are having at Rush on an annual basis?
There's about 4 leagues per year, 3 to 4 leagues per year, because it runs 10 weeks at a time between school holidays.
10 weeks, okay.
Yeah, for the most part, unless they're doing a quick, I know that there's corporate tournaments that happen as well. Sometimes they're a quick 5-weeker. It's loads of fun.
And how would somebody go about getting involved or signing up for one of those tournaments?
You could probably just go to Dodgeball South Africa, dodgeballsa.com.
Okay.
I know that's how we got in touch, and we contacted Nick, and he just kind of gave us everything that we needed to know. I phoned him, but I know that he's really available on emails. He's great.
And I'm sure people that are interested could just kind of go online and get his details. Now let's talk about your more professional involvement with the sport. How did you come about being involved with the Green Mambas? How did you become a South African athlete? I mean, was that quite a swift transition from playing the game for fun on trampolines to all of a sudden you're representing your country? Talk me through that a little bit.
Oh my word, that was a roller coaster experience. I went from just playing at the trampolines, and then Nick was like, hey, you should try out for the SA team. And I was like, what's the SA team?
Yeah.
And he said, hey, we're having tryouts. We want to send a team to Egypt. We think it would be amazing if we could represent our country. Let's just go. And I remember the morning of the trials, I was like, I'm not going to do this. And I had friends over, and it was about an hour later, and I thought, no, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And it was so great. I met a lot of the teammates that I had in 2017.
Yeah.
They were at that tryout, and I left home. I told my friends, you guys lock up, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go to this tryouts because you never know what's going to happen. And from the tryouts, there were a couple of more. And in between, we were doing little sessions and training and really just seeing if we could actually do this, if we could actually represent our country, if we could actually grow as a unit. And it was amazing to see such a group of people just take on this idea, this representation, this thing that they wanted to accomplish, this passion that they had for a game that they had only been playing for a while. And we put it all together in one team, and we were like, cool, we're going to go to Egypt. Unfortunately for me, I ended up breaking my arm before we left, but I was still there on the sidelines representing with green hair.
That's so unfortunate. You broke your arm in a dodgeball related injury?
We were at practice. Practice had ended, and we decided let's play one more game.
Oh, no.
And as I was backtracking, we call Candice. She's actually on the court right now.
Candice Gilbert, number 5.
Yeah, number 5. You should
had
see.
A good tournament.
You know how she whips that ball at your feet?
Yes.
I was backtracking, and all I could see was the intensity in her eyes, and I knew that ball was coming. And I lost my balance and I fell over. It was just one of those freak accidents, could have happened anywhere.
Yeah.
And ended up just falling wrong on my arm.
Oh no.
Yeah, but you know what?
Gnarly.
I still went. I acted as a manager. I took on all the organization, and I just thought,
I believe
I should still just push myself into this team because they deserve to be here.
And if it weren't for your exquisite administrative skills, half the team probably wouldn't have even made it to Cairo, right?
I don't know if I can take that credit, but I do think I helped out quite a bit.
I heard stories, for sure. So I'm sure you can take some kudos there for that. And so we're talking about the AFCON, and that was the inaugural AFCON, African Cup of Nations, in Egypt in 2017?
Yes, in 2017, it was August,
So that's pretty exciting. I mean,
it was intense. You didn't know what was going to happen, we were in this huge hall. We all had brought SA flags, so we had our little nook of SA Hears, and we had one supporter that came through with us, which was great.
Who was that?
It was one of our friends from Rush, from the Rush League.
Oh, okay, awesome, nice.
Yeah, and she was along, she was supporting, but you were filled with a huge Egyptian crowd in this hall, and it was quite a mind game to keep yourself in it, because there's a whole bunch of people cheering for your opposition. And you have one little supporter.
Home ground advantage.
But by the second day, there were supporters cheering for us.
Already,
they were like our own little SA pod of people, and there were guys from the crowds that had come to offer their legs to be our ball pickers.
That's amazing.
At first we were like, oh, you're Egyptian, and they were like, no, we're supporting you. We want you to do
I
well.
was totally going to offer my services, but unfortunately I've got to kind of make sure that
It's
we're
a poor
keeping
excuse, Mark.
wonderful people in the land of the interweb engaged and entertained.
You are doing a fantastic job. I heard from Honey, the people in Egypt are loving your commentary.
I'm so happy that I can be of service to the people, the kind people from Egypt. And while we are talking about them, thank you for sending such amazing athletes, but incredible people, warm.
You're very welcoming. We have loads of fun with them.
Yeah.
Even from 2017, we created a culture of friendship and
Yes.
dancing and music and fun.
And
I
that
think
is,
since
yeah,
then-
that is being illustrated on the pitch.
Oh, 100%.
And that is one of the
100%.
integral kind of qualities of why we play dodgeball. You know, we don't take it too seriously, even though we are talking about international tournaments, World Cups, you know, world rankings, etc.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's just about having fun and making friends, right?
Yeah, I mean, you obviously we want to win. I mean, the competition
course.
is there, but we never want to walk away without having created some form of friendship, having smiled at someone on the opposition team, and just taking the game as lightly as you can humanly possibly do in that
Okay,
moment.
for sure, that makes perfect sense. And yeah, a massive thank you to the Egyptian players, to the Egyptian people for sending such wonderful
Yeah,
Egyptians to
They
our
did
country.
send amazing squads down, really. There are some familiar faces. We've made friends with them over the last
Yeah.
2 years that we've encountered them. And it's so amazing that wherever we meet, we just are embraced by each other with such love and friendship and joy.
A lot of new faces from 2017, would you say?
Yes, no, definitely. There's I'll even point out someone I find especially good. It's number 10 in the women's team. My nickname for her is Goggles.
Goggles, okay, yeah.
She's fantastic, a
I know
fantastic
you-
catcher
yeah,
and such
yeah.
a sweet soul. But I know she's one of their younger players.
The Egyptian ladies, a lot of them so diminutive in stature, but so good at catching.
Impactful. Yeah, so fantastic. The amazing thing is they just drop to their knees.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're so ready to get. I mean, I think it was yesterday I saw Marti. She's one of the older captaining players on their side. She threw
Number
the
13.
ball. No, she's not on the court right
She's
now.
not number 13. What's her name? Mardi.
Marti, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I think I know
So
who you're
she
talking about.
threw the ball, and immediately afterwards she dropped to the floor and was able to make a catch. And I just looked at this and I thought, I'd love to be able to do that one day.
The skill set on display is another level, and unfortunately, from a South African perspective, the score sheet would reflect that the Egyptians just with a little bit too much experience, but maybe just they've had a little bit more time to hone those skills. But what I've
definitely.
also noticed from my kind of vantage points is that they don't get flustered. They stick to their structures,
Yeah.
and they execute seriously
Yeah, they
well.
do very well. They do. So they do have a set strategy in mind. They execute it, but also they've come into this year, which we haven't seen in 2017, because that's the only kind of perspective we have coming into this AFCON, because we didn't play them last year. They play a much more dominating game than what they did 2 years ago.
Okay.
And I have to commend them for it, because
As well
they
as their coaching staff have also done
Yeah,
an amazing
yeah.
job with their team.
They read us well, they played accordingly, and they really pushed. I know our girls started reading their game and pushing back, and that was really, really positive thing to do, because we counteracted their movements quite well. But I have to give it to them. They were great competitors and fantastic strategies there for their coaches.
Take us back to that first game yesterday that you played. Final score 10-10.
Ladies or mixed?
Ladies.
Ladies game.
Yeah. Draw.
Yeah, that was intense.
You guys were so evenly matched, and then the second game, I stand corrected, but I think at the interval the score was 5-5, but then the Egyptian ladies just seemed to engage another gear, and by the end of it I think they'd beaten the ladies by about 10 points.
Well, me particularly, I came on towards the end of the game, managed to draw by the time the last 90-second game came on, and then I was taken off the court. Still think I should have stayed, but I mean, gotta follow the coach's lead. And we just played the best, but I think we were playing more of a defensive game, and we learned from game one to maybe play slightly more attacking, not as defensive, and just kind of adjusted ourselves accordingly.
I think you'll find that scoreline of 10-10 was South Africa's best showing the entire tournament, which shows us that got a lot of work to do ahead of the
100%.
2020 World Cup. But at the same time, now you know where that bar is, so
Yes,
you know what you need to do.
Yeah.
You can go back and view this fabulous footage brought to you by Take Note Technologies, and be able to kind of really analyze exactly what needs to be done in order to get back up there. And I suppose you've got about 7 months now to work on that.
Yeah. I must say, having footage is amazing. There's nothing you can learn more than physically having a visual of going, what actually happened in that game, where did I make my mistakes, and how can I do better. I do definitely think we can up our fitness a bit, I don't know if we'll ever be as flexy and as supple as the Egyptians.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they can just drop and not have
incredible.
bruises afterwards is amazing, but we can definitely up our game and play the best of our ability.
Looks like the ladies at the moment are, so 11-1, and a scoreline like that would suggest that they are fitter. And from what I've seen, it's the second half that they just kind of like up the ante, and it just looks like the South African ladies can't quite keep up in that regard. But that's something that you can easily kind of like manage and work on over the next couple of months to get back up there. But these ladies seem to be the full package, the Egyptian team.
Yeah, so they can throw, they can dodge, and they can catch, which is amazing. I know on the South African front, we often have girls that are women that only maybe have 2 out of the 3 traits, so they can either dodge or catch, and then either throw or dodge, and or throw and catch when you're sublime. I will say the Egyptians have the full package, but I do think that our South Africans have it in us. And
For sure.
Your lineup is everything. You got to
Yeah.
make sure that if we don't have everything in our every single lady, that we have everything in our starting lineup. And I do think that is very important.
Tell me about Madison Square Gardens in was it 2018?
Last year, yeah.
Last year?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that. Educate our listeners and viewers as to exactly what went down there.
So that was pretty intense. Day one, we started in the afternoon we started outside, all the teams were gathered, it was drizzling in New York, but the air was thick with humidity, and the Austrian team had brought this huge speaker, and they were just jamming music, and it just started the hiss of the tournament with all the teams dancing in the street, cars going by, and so we walked into this big basketball hall, and there were 10 courts all playing at once. It was so intense.
10 courts the size of these courts now.
10 courts the size of this court in one place.
What?
It
That's
was
insane.
amazing.
I mean, because this is a pretty big stadium that we find ourselves in now, right?
Yeah.
So
But,
5 times the size of this,
yeah.
basically.
Yeah, it was.
Horizontally across, or
It was this huge warehouse-looking building, and there were just 10 courts, and they were like, guys, you just got to go from court to court to court. But the difference was we had one squad, and we just played men's, women's mix straight after each other, bam, 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 against whatever country we were versing. And I know our ladies, we went with just 6, and we versed Scotland, and they kicked our ass.
oh yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
yeah. The Europeans are pretty good at dodgeball.
Yeah, oh my word, I have to tell you about day 2. Day 2, we were helping on the organizational front, watching footage, helping get the teams aligned, and our men had made it to the final of the second league, and they did fantastic against Korea. Unfortunately, they won. So I'm totally distracted by the song. It's like our anthem.
Yeah, I know, right?
But yeah, the second day I was watching. I know you asked me about the tournament, but on the second day I was watching Austria versus Australia, the ladies' game, and
Australia.
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't even see balls touch these women. They were throwing so hard,
Wow.
and no matter what, if a woman got grazed, if a woman got hit, she took her out. You were like, did she even get hit with the ball? And she would just walk off the court and be like, I'm out. It was the most honest game I've ever seen of dodgeball in my life, and that was amazing. It was amazing. I was like, I just want to come back so I can play against all these incredible teams and see how they play. And we
Yeah.
watched the European Cup earlier this year actually,
How did you watch the European Cup earlier this year? Via live stream or?
via live stream. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And we saw a lot of the teams that we had seen in the World Cup. And yeah, you can learn so much about their technique and their strategy on their game as well. So it's fantastic. But yeah, in New York, it was a great experience. We played a full day, then we had to get a subway back home, only to get back the next day to play a next full day of games. And we became really good friends with the Australians as well. They even fed us and they
Poor
looked out for
Africans,
us.
come around, come on, you poor Africans.
Yeah, we were so busy and they were just like, y'all so busy, we're just going to give you food so that you can make it through the day, and we were just very grateful. Made so many friendships. This sport is just so friendship and happiness orientated. There is no person that I see angry for long periods of time.
Yeah.
Even when you are upset, you can't help smiling at the next person who's dancing like a silly person, like Dana is right now.
Well, I mean, what's happening on the court right now can attest exactly what you're talking about. What other kind of international qualifying tournament will you find the two opposing teams joining forces and playing the sport against each other in this kind of combined team?
I can't even think.
I can't really think of any of the top of my head.
No, not at
and-
all. We definitely have this underlying fun, bloodline running through all that dodgeball is. And that's what makes it such an attractive sport. It's what makes you come back for more, because even when you don't want to play, you're like, I just want to hit someone with the ball, or oh my word, that was so much fun, I've got to go back for more. It's just an amazing sport. I love it so much.
Well, it looks like you will be coming back for more. And 2020 Egypt, second time round.
I mean, I didn't play the first time around, so that would be phantasmagorical. Yes,
Well,
I just
for
made that game.
Any
name
of
up.
our South African listeners listening, I'm sure if we had to look at their bucket lists, visiting the Great Pyramids of Giza would be right up there. So maybe we can tick that off and get some South African support to come and follow the team this time round.
Yeah, I mean, even getting more people that are interested in playing would be amazing. I mean, growing the squad is what we want to do. Grow the sport is what we want to do. So yeah, put it on your bucket list. July is when the World Cup's going to be. It would be amazing to have more supporters there, and every nation's going to be there. It's just, I can only imagine how peaceful it's going to be.
And personal results aside, what do you think overall of the tournament that we as South Africans have put on here in Kutsenberg?
Yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. The support has been amazing. We really brought the gees, the G's as we say.
The G's.
Yeah, I feel like we put up a good fight, and I really enjoyed everything. The nets have been an amazing thing. We didn't have that in Egypt, so that was great to have something different. The footage has been awesome. The signage just makes everything look so professional and cool.
Yeah.
And we really, just feel like it's been an amazing experience.
Highlights?
An amazing experience.
Highlights of the past 2 days?
Highlights. I think just the suicide.
Oh, yeah.
I got to suicide, and that was one of the awesomest highlights. And
I'll be honest
actually
with
got
you, I
someone
didn't even
else.
know about suicides before I saw one for the first time. I was
Oh,
like,
my word, it was so
what is
cool.
this person doing?
Yeah, we actually decided in one of the previous games that once we got 3 balls, we'd all just jump over the line together, and it was so effective. Like, hey, why didn't we do this before?
Is that an official rule in terms of World Dodgeball Standards? Are you allowed to suicide like that?
Yeah, as long as you hit the person before you land, you can do whatever you want.
It's awesome.
It's
Well,
great.
maybe it's time I get back into the sport just that I can do one suicide.
You have such an arm on you, Mark. I don't know why you haven't joined us already.
Ligamental damage,
Oh, golly.
deep muscle tissue problems.
Then maybe you shouldn't come back, but you should definitely come support us in Egypt.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can get some pundits to come up to Egypt to broadcast and give some awesome live streams to the people.
Yeah, this
back
live stream has
home.
been amazing.
We'll chat to the Dodgeball Federation. I'm sure they've been keeping an eye on what we've been up to down here in South Africa. And word on the streets is that we're putting together a pretty tidy package. So seeing that the event is going to be in Africa, maybe we can keep all the technology African, and we'll see how things go. But thank you so much
hopefully you can even come and commentate on that side. We'd love your sexy English voice.
That'd be super cool. Chantal, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks
Taking
for
the
having
time
me.
to take your time out of your schedule. I think you're done playing for the day, right?
I'm done for the day, yes.
Ice bath,
Oh, can't wait.
glass of Chardonnay.
Maybe 2.
Maybe 2. Chantal, thank you so much
Thanks,
for taking the time. See you later.